Greetings and good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Top 10 Songs. Wait a second. It's not really Top 10 Songs. So, I've been asked numerous times over the last couple of months by folks asking, Pete, why don't you do a show on your favorite instrumental songs? Okay, songs that cover all the genres that we cover, but no vocals. Okay, and maybe do a top 10 song or a top 25 song. So I said, yeah, I can totally do that. So I've been kind of putting together a list, and it was going to be Pete's 25 favorite instrumental songs. All right? At least that's what it started to be. As it turns out, my list started spiraling out of control. All right? And I realized that there was just no way possible I could list 25 songs and only 25 songs. Especially since, so many tunes, instrumental songs that I love fall into the kind of jazz and jazz fusion camp, and basically every song is instrumental, right? So it's just like, In fact, as I'm talking right now, I'm thinking of another one I got to put on my list, and I'm just going to rattle it off first so I don't forget. So this is no longer a top 10 or a top 25 or a top 50. This is just some of Pete's favorite instrumental songs, and the list, I'm sure, is much lengthier than this, and I apologize. I'm going to forget like a bunch of stuff on this list that I love. So a lot of you are going to be like, oh, but what about? So I love instrumental tunes. I love instrumental music, right? So this was basically hours of me scouring through the memory banks and the CDs and stuff, trying to remember all sorts of instrumental tunes that I love. This is not an exhaustive list. It's a pretty lengthy list. I'm just going to go through them all right? So you kind of guys get a feel for some of the ones that I really love, okay, quite a bit. But this is not a complete list. I may have to do a part 2 of this at some point. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to list them off. I may talk a little bit about each one. I'm not going to get too much into detail because obviously it's a long list. All right, so first, the one I just thought of as I was talking, Squids by the Brecker Brothers. Okay, what a groove. What a freaking melody on that tune. It's got some hot playing, man. It's just such a killer song. I did not want to forget that. All right, let's go to the rest of my list now. The first one I thought of, because I just dig it and I love this guy to death, Freeway Jam by Jeff Beck. I mean, probably, one of his first instrumental sort of hits, right? I mean, you still, well, I don't know about now, but I remember in the 80s and the early 90s, you would still hear Freeway Jam on classic rock radio. I'm not sure if they play it anymore, but just a great tune with a great hook, some sizzling guitar playing. You gotta have Frankenstein by the Edgar Winter Group, of course, right? One of the most memorable instrumental hits ever. How about The Spider from Kansas, from Point of No Return? If I'm not mistaken, probably the only instrumental I think they've ever done, right? Maybe they've done one or two others, but that's it. Fire on High by Electric Light Orchestra off the great Face the Music album. Just love Fire on High. Killer tune. Ominous, and just there's a reason why it was chosen to be on a weekly sports show back in the 70s, right? It's just got that just a bombastic tune. For the Love of God by Steve Vai. Oh, man, I love Steve Vai as a guitar player, and I think that's, for me, my favorite song by him. It's just got some just incredible guitar playing. Where'd I leave off? Cliffs of Dover by Eric Johnson from the great Avia Musicom album. Another killer tune. Probably, if it's not my favorite, it's definitely a top 3. One of my favorite instrumental songs of all time, In Memory of Elizabeth Reed by the Allman Brothers Band. I mean, such a perfectly constructed song. The dueling guitars of Dwayne and Dickie. It's just, I love it. Love it. 'Cause We've Ended as Lovers from Jeff Beck. Jeff Beck shows up once again from the great Blow by Blow album. How about Soul Sacrifice by Santana off their debut, played at Woodstock, made famous. Killer. The Messiah Will Come Again, originally recorded and written by Roy Buchanan. Also done quite well, I might say, by Gary Moore. Some of the gutsiest playing melodies on any song ever, whether it's Roy playing it or Gary. Love them both. How about La Villa Strangiato from Rush? Okay, and preferably the exit stage left version. Love it. There's a million Frank Zappa tunes. I'm not going to name them all, but how about Black Napkins? All right. Peaches and Regalia. Watermelon and Easter Hay. Great guitar playing on that from Frank from the Joe's Garage album. How about Monsoon by Jeff Young, a more recent one? All right, if you have not heard Monsoon from my good buddy Jeff, you need to. Great, great song. All right, off of it's a kind of a single that Jeff released. It's going to be on his upcoming album. A killer, killer instrumental song. It's got metal elements and kind of Egyptian themes and some blazing hard rock fusion-y guitar solos. Amazing stuff. Or as Jeff would say, amazeballs, right? All right, how about some Mahavishnu Orchestra stuff? Gotta love Mahavishnu. Meeting of the Spirits. All right, off of the Intermounting Flame album. How about the Noonward Race? Man, Mahavishnu in their prime with that first lineup. I even like the second lineup a lot too. But that original lineup on those first two albums, untouchable, right? How about Birds of Fire? Title track off their second album. I can name like every song off those early Mahavishnu albums. Just great stuff. How about Stratus by Billy Cobham, as well as Quadrant 4, both from the Spectrum album, all right? Tommy Bolin on lead guitar. Great stuff there. What else we got here? Space Circus from Return to Forever from the Hymn of the Seventh Galaxy album. Love that song. Sorceress and Medieval Overture from the Romantic Warrior album. Also Return to Forever. Vulcan Worlds from their Where Have I Known You Before album. All those Return to Forever. Great songs. Again, I could have named every Return to Forever song. That good. School Days by Stanley Clarke from the album of the same name. How about The Wizard from Al Di Meola's Land of the Midnight Sun album. Also from the same album, Sweet Golden Dawn. Okay, how about Race with the Devil on Spanish Highway from Di Meola's Elegant Gypsy album. How about Fanfare for the Common Man by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Oh, that is just grandiose and just absolute perfection. Love that. How about some Joe Satriani, guys? How about Satch Boogie and Flying in a Blue Dream and Ice 9? All right, all great tunes off of his second and third solo albums. Back to Steve Vai. How about Tender Surrender? Some beautiful tones in that one. Devil Take the Hindmost from Mr. Alan Holdsworth, the legend. All right, gotta have some Holdsworth on here. Why not one more? How about from Soft Machine, Hazard Profile from their Amazing Bundles album? Just some incredible jazz fusion prog. All right, ripping. How about Foreplay from Boston off their self-titled debut? Wring That Neck from the mighty Deep Purple. All right. From my buddy Anthony Ferrara, how about Los Endos from Genesis' Trick of the Tail album? Incredible. It's also real highly recommended on the Seconds Out album as well. How about a couple from the Who's Tommy album? How about Sparks? Okay, and the Overture, which kicks it all off. Amazing, amazing instrumental tracks on that great concept album. Jeff Beck is back. How about Lead Boots from the Wired album? Big favorite of mine. Let's go with a little Dixie Dregs, shall we? How about Cruise Control? All right, another tune that was featured on many a sports program and various other programs over. In fact, if I remember correctly, there was like a wrestling show I used to watch like in the late 70s, early 80s that had that as the theme song. I know over in London or Great Britain, there was another famous show that had Cruise Control as the kind of soundtrack or title theme, right? How about Odyssey from the Dregs as well? Another great tune. Let's kind of stay in the Dregs family. How about the Steve Morse Band? Cruise Missile, for the introduction. Collateral Damage, another great Steve Morse Band track. Let's see, what do we got next? Little Dream Theater, Yitsy Jam, all right. YYZ from Rush, you better believe it. Scene 2 Overture, 1928 from Dream Theater, from their Scenes from a Memory, fantastic album. Yngwie Malmsteen, Far Beyond the Sun. We might as well throw Black Star in it while we're at it, right? Two incredible pieces of music from that debut Rising Force album, which still amazes. I remember when that came out, man. Whew, game changer. How about Orion from Metallica? All right, Metallica in their early part of their career usually threw a lengthy instrumental epic on all their albums. It's probably my favorite. Mr. Scary from Dokken, George Lynch and Company. All right, that's a pretty ripping instrumental. Some fiery guitar playing from Mr. Lynch. Got to have Eruption on here from Van Halen, right? Okay. Iron Maiden, Genghis Khan off the Killers album. A killer track. All right. Where did I leave off here? How about Soothsayer from Buckethead? Thanks to my buddy Jeff Young for turning me onto that tune. That is incredible. Incredible. Let's see. Bad Asteroid from the Aristocrats. Something a little more recent. Great, great stuff. Could pick any Aristocrats tune. All right, that's a fantastic one, though. What about Lunar Sea from veteran legends, Prog legends, Camel? Lunar Sea, a great tune. Got all those great keyboards and Andrew Latimer's lyrical guitar solos. Awesome. How about a little King Crimson? Lark's Tongues and Aspics Part 1 and Part 2. Both incredible, both different, both amazing. Paradigm Shift from Liquid Tension Experiment. Little Dream Theater offshoot instrumental band with Tony Levin. Fantastic. Complex as all hell. In That Quiet Earth from Genesis, from the Wind and Wuthering album. Ace of Wands from ex-Genesis guitarist Steve Hackett from his first solo album. Voyage of the Acolyte. Great tune. One of These Days by Pink Floyd from the Metal album. Love the pounding bass in that, man. What an ominous, powerful tune. Boré from Jethro Tull. All right. Nice reworking of an old classical piece. More Pink Floyd. How about Obscured by Clouds? The height of their psychedelic era. The Boys in the Band from Gentle Giant. All right. They didn't do a lot of instrumentals, those guys, but they should have done more. I love the stuff with the vocals, obviously, but they were just such an amazing, amazing bunch of musicians. They could have done They could have done all their albums instrumental. I don't think we would have minded. But Boys in the Band, a great instrumental track from them. Protocosmos and Red Alert, both classic tunes from the Tony Williams lifetime. Each one featuring Alan Holdsworth. All right. From the Tribute to Jack Johnson album, Miles Davis, Right Off. Okay. How about from Bitches Brew? Miles Runs the Voodoo Down. Again, Miles Davis, Jesus Christ, I could have picked a million fucking songs. He's got so many great tunes, all right? Jessica from the Allman Brothers Band. Classic. A little change of pace here. How about Rat Salad by Black Sabbath? Another band that didn't really do instrumental tunes. It's like, God, is that one of the only ones, right? They did like 2 early on in their career. Great, great stuff. Black Mountainside from Led Zeppelin. Very cool acoustic tune. Got to have Hendrix on this list. Third Stone from the Sun and Little Wing. All right, both gems. How about Lenny from Stevie Ray Vaughan? Gorgeous piece. Gorgeous piece. Riviera Paradise, also from Stevie. How about Rude Mood, also from Stevie? Another guy that probably could have done half of his albums instrumental and we would not have minded at all. Guy who could do blues, jazz, and rock really, really well. Wanna Funk from Jeff Golub. All right. That's another tune that was turned on to from my buddy Jeff Young. Great. It's a great album, and it's a great, great song. Wanna Funk. Okay, next up, Frank Gambale, one of my favorite guitar players. Spike's Song, and The Natives Are Restless. Okay, let's go to Frank's other band that he's got with Chick Corea Electric Bands. Okay, how about Rumble? Well, he didn't play on these two, but Rumble and Sidewalk, all right, from the very first Chick Corea Electric Band album. Love those tunes. And then you got Tales of Daring. Okay, that's with Gambale. That is a great, lengthy, epic piece. Okay, with some fantastic, fantastic musical passages. Bright Size Life from the Pat Metheny Group. Awesome, awesome album, an awesome song. Kahautek from Journey, right? How about some early Journey on here, man, when they were kind of like a fusion-y band, right? Topaz, also from Journey. Nickel and Dime, another great instrumental Journey piece. All right. Into the Arena from the Michael Schenker Group. Jake to the Bone from Toto from the Kingdom of Desire album. Killer instrumental. Fusion-y hard rock, boy, I love it. How about Hammerhead from the Pat Travers Band? Killer. Poppy from Frank Marino, Mahogany Rush. Poppy is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's see, what else we got here? Liberation from the Chicago Transit Authority from their very first album. God, Terry Catho-Rama on that one. Near 15 minutes of just blistering guitar and horns. What do you got? Milestones from Miles Davis. How about My Favorite Things from John Coltrane? How about Giant Steps from John Coltrane? Need a little Larry Carlton on this list. How about Don't Give It Up? And finishing off my list, again, this list could have been enormous, and probably we'll do a part 2 of this, but Backstabbers from the Rippingtons. I love the Rippingtons. I kind of, I probably should have thrown some Spyro Gyra on this list too, but maybe that'll be for part 2. Backstabbers from the Kilimanjaro album, just a totally addicting song from the Rippingtons that has just killer sax melodies on it. Great guitar work. It's just such a memorable tune. That's, that's always the challenge in creating instrumental music, right? You have to make it catchy. You got to make it memorable. I mean, there's been so many instrumental songs written and recorded over time that's just like an excuse for, instrumental virtuosity, but you have to have something to hook in the listener, right? Because there's a lot of people in our world who don't like music without vocals. So if you're going to make an instrumental song, you have to kind of replace those catchy vocals with something musical. So you've got to make the song attractive to the listeners. Okay, and I know there's plenty of people out there, myself included, who like an instrumental tune that's just got rip-roaring guitar and crazy keyboards and drums and all that kind of stuff. I'm fine with that. But you got to make it memorable, right? So anyway, that was my, we'll call it part 1, because my guess is I'll probably do a part 2 of this. Some of Pete's favorite instrumental songs, all right? What started out as a top 25, as you can see, I don't know how many I listed, probably close to 100, but I'm sure there's a trillion more. So I hope you enjoyed that. Leave your feedback and your comments, maybe some of your favorites, all right? And I'll try and scour the memory for some additional, maybe we'll do a part 2. If you guys want to see a part 2, if you want to see a part 2, I'll do a part 2 of this. So let me know, all right? Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube almost every single day, so we'll see you guys probably tomorrow. Guess what's coming up? I'm going to be putting together either tomorrow or over the weekend top 10 songs from AC/DC. Stay tuned. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.